All right, what is up, everybody? ADS Play 101 here, and welcome to the Pokemon Unite test server. I'm one of the few people that have access to the test server. I mean, it's a public test server; anybody can get it, but you gotta do a bunch of stuff just to log into it. So, yeah, but that's beside the point. So, what we're going to be looking at today is the maintenance just got through for the test server. And we have Inteleon, Blazekin, and Leafeon that we can try out. So we're gonna go take a look at them. Well, let's check these Pokemon out. I'll go at the bottom, and no Blaziken. Did I pass him up? I mean, he would be at the bottom though, so I don't see why, but I don't see Blaziken for some reason. Okay, that's something that they gotta fix. So, first things first, we're gonna take a look at Leafeon. We're gonna take a look at Leafeon first. Take a look at all his moves. So, per usual, all EVs have Swift, but it's like different variations of Swift that they have. Maybe I should turn this volume up a little bit. There you go. There we go. I think we should be good now. We should be good now. There we go. So looking at EV, its passive is Run Away. Look at Leafeon's EV form. When the Pokemon with this ability is not in combat, its movement speed is slightly increased. That tells me that this is a jump. Matter of fact, this is not an all-rounder like I thought it was going to be. It's a speedster. It's a speedster. So that's good to know. When the Pokemon with this ability is not in tall grass, its chlorophyll gauge charges. When the chlorophyll gauge is full, the Pokemon with this ability has its movement speed increased. Okay, so it has a special ability gauge. That's interesting to know. So its moves. So this version of Swift, it shoots shooting star shaped rays, dealing damage for the opposing Pokemon they hit. Okay, so they don't have any unique ability, not like with Umbreon. Its EV form, its Swift leaves a mark, and when Umbreon attacks the one who has the mark, it does increase damage to that Pokemon. This one is just a regular attack. So its first move is Razor Leaf. Has the user launch 5 sharp-edged leaves in the designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon they hit before sticking into the ground for a short time. If this move is used again, the leaves return to the user and deal damage to opposing Pokemon they hit along the way. If the leaves are returned to the user after a set amount of time has passed, they get stuck into the ground. After a set amount of time has passed since they stuck into the ground, they deal increased damage. If all 5 leaves hit one Pokemon, the user grants a shield. Okay. So you shoot them out, and if all 5 hit them on return, Leafeon gets a shield. So it has a way to protect itself. And the other one is Solar Blade. So has the user start gathering light and filling a blade with light's energy. If this move is used again after the user has started gathering light, the user brings the blade down, dealing damage to the opposing Pokemon it hits. The longer the blade is filled with light energy, the more damage the move deals. When this user's chlorophyll gauge is full, the cooldown for the next use of this move is reduced. And when the move is used, the blade is brought down immediately and deals maximum damage. In the upgrade, the user receives reduced damage while the blade is filling with light energy. Okay, so it's a defense buff, and for Razor Leaf, it strengthens the effect of the shield granted by the move. So its second moves, its quick attack, has the user move quickly in the designated direction, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon that makes contact along the way. Then it has Aerial Ace, same thing that Talonflame has. but it's different. Has the user move with speed and slash, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon it hits. The user's next basic attack after this move deals increased damage. A maximum of 2 uses can be kept in reserve. Decreases the time it takes to store the use of this move. Okay. And then we got Leaf Blade, which I'm not surprised it gets. I'm not surprised it got Leaf Blade. But has the user dash and spin while they're slashing around itself with sharp leaves, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon it hits. If the outer ring of this move's area of effect hits opposing Pokemon, it deals increased damage, decreases the Pokemon's movement speed, and charges the user's chlorophyll gauge. So, an upgrade, it also uses this move's cooldown, also reduces this move's cooldown when the outer ring of the area of effect deals damage to multiple opponents simultaneously. And its Unite move, it's a sure hit Unite move, so it's not gonna miss. And it has an area of effect too. Has the user leap at the designated opposing Pokemon, dealing damage to it and decreasing its movement speed. After that, the user leaps up and lands with force, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. Those opposing Pokemon take more damage the closer they are to the center of the area of effect. Alright, so the items that I have on Leafeon, which I don't even think are good ones, it's a melee attacker, a speedster, so I kind of want to keep this stuff on him. This is just, obviously, it's the test server. I don't know what is what, but that's Leafeon. So let's take Leafeon into practice. It's a practice mode. Let's see the moves in action. So I got, I'm gonna use X speed. I have, let's see. First we're gonna do, the first moves we're gonna try out is Razor Leaf and Aerial Ace. I want to see those two in action. And I have Tyranitar. He's kind of built for, basically like a standard Tyranitar. See how well we do against him. I'm using X speed, so just a heads up. Let's see what we got. I got Swift. Just shoots out in a ray just like that. Even attacks different. Quick attack. Man, you don't move too bad. He gets around kind of quick, but then again, that's his passive. So we want Razor Leaf. That's what we're doing. Supposedly he gets a shield from that. Let's go try it out on what you call him down there. So he gets a shield, but I ain't seen a shield. I don't really see a shield. Okay, well, he gave a shield then. Oh, is the shield for like when multiple? If the leaves return to user. Okay, all 5 leaves have to hit one Pokemon. What is Leafeon? He's a speedster. He's a speedster. He's not an all-arounder that people thought, but he's a speedster. Alright, So all 5 of the leads have to hit a single Pokemon for him to get the shield. So it's going to increase the. So let's increase the. Let's see. We're going to max out Tyranitar. Go ahead and max him out. And bonus for that. Bonus for that. Just maxed him out as well. So for him, it's like you want to attack when that gauge is full. That's when you really want to attack. When that gauge is full, that's when you get all his bonus stuff. So he's basically built for the jungle. His passive allows him to move quickly. And Aerial Ace can get him around pretty good. I mean, but this is just his first set of moves. I built Tyranitar kind of tough, so X BBB. We're gonna try out his Unite move afterwards. He can do pretty good hits. I don't know if I like this moveset though, so let's take a look at the moves. $12,000 damage. 5,000 damage. That's not too bad. Yeah, you could probably get away with doing something like that. I got his minimal cooldown. Take the cooldowns off. 3,000. That's not much. That doesn't really do much. I thought that maybe it would have been like, you know, better. And the chlorophyll gauge seems like it lends itself better to what his other moves are. It's like the chlorophyll gauge basically lends itself to Solar Blade and Leaf Blade. We got that. Can we reset the clock? So you want to have the gauge full. Oh shit. So what, I'm supposed to hold that? I gotta hold it down? Let's see. I know somebody said once the gauge is full, you have to hold it down. Oh, okay, so when the gauge is full, it doesn't. So when the chlorophyll gauge is full, it doesn't charge, it just activates. Does it scale off a special attack or just attack? Just attack. And so what he has is a chlorophyll gauge underneath him, and that lends itself to Solar Blade more so than Razor Leaf. When it's full, it'll just activate. When it's not full, you gotta wait for it to charge. But it still does pretty good damage. I think Solar Blade and Leaf Blade is going to be two of his better moves. I just see that working too, because his other moves don't lend his. With the chlorophyll gauge, it's like his moves don't. The chlorophyll gauge, it lends itself to the Solar Blade more so than. It lends itself towards the chlorophyll gauge lends itself more so towards Solar Blade and Leaf Blade than it does Razor Leaf and Aerial Ace. So it's like his passive not even made for one side of his skill set. So let's go back to him. So, again, his passive gives him a chlorophyll gauge, right? And when he's not in tall grass, the gauge charges. And when it's full, the Pokemon with this ability, his movement speed increases. So that allows him to, traverse through terrain, especially in the jungle, a lot faster. Razor Leaf doesn't. It's supposed to give him a shield, and I think this is more so for group attacks than anything. So maybe if you decide to use them in lane, maybe this would be the way to go. But you can use Solar Blade for that too. But this lends itself to being more so towards hitting multiple people. And then he gets a shield on it if all 5 of the leaves hit a single Pokemon. Or the same Pokemon. So even if it hits multiple Pokemon, as long as it hits the same Pokemon, it gives him a shield. And Aerial Ace is good. You saw him get a small shield. Yeah. So when all 5 of the leaves hit a single Pokemon, or the same Pokemon, excuse me, then he gets the shield. But all 5 of the leaves have to hit in order for that second effect to activate. Aerial Ace is good, but it's just damage and it's just a dash. That's all it is. Like, it's just a dash and damage. It doesn't even when you upgrade it, it doesn't give him an extra move to use. It just decreases the amount of time it takes to store it. So I'm not going to say that it's useless, but compared to Leaf Blade and Solar Blade, like for example, Leaf Blade, it lends itself to hit. If you hit more people with it, there's a benefit to it, and it has an area of effect. so you're more likely to hit more people, especially in a group. And on top of that, it charges the chlorophyll. Whoa. It charges the chlorophyll gauge, which again lends itself to Solar Blade. It has more of a purpose in conjunction with its passive. And Solar Blade, you know, it's a single hit move. It's just a chop, but at the same time, again, you're making use out of that chlorophyll gauge a lot more than with Razor Leaf. Not saying Razor Leaf doesn't have its place, but obviously you're going to use this more so in lane or jungle than the other one. I can see Razor Leaf being an option, but Solar Blade I feel like is going to have more an immediate effect, especially when taking that chlorophyll gauge into consideration, especially when when you have the full gauge charge, it just activates a full powered Solar Blade rather than you having to charge it. And I mean, but then again, with Razor Leaf, you hit multiple people, and it hits twice, so that can always come in handy. The only downside to this Pokemon that I see is Aerial Ace. You know, every Pokemon kind of has that one move. Well, some Pokemon have that one move that just you don't see them really using like that. I can see Aerial Ace being used, especially say if you want to like kind of dash around and confuse somebody while still doing damage. It'll have that effect, but you can fill your chlorophyll gauge up faster with Leaf Blade. So it all depends on how you want to build them. This is just like starter moves, like just starter items that I held with them. Looking at all of this, obviously you want to do the most damage you can do with them. So now, if you look at another website or something like that, they probably will give you different suggestions. With me, looking at the way, just looking at him raw, the way he is, he's meant to be in the jungle, but he can go in lane. As far as top lane and bottom lane, he'll probably be more so of a top laner than a bottom laner. But then again, you know, it all depends on how you use it. You know, I think the recommendations for this Pokemon, it was the same ones that I already had. The recommendations, the Scope, Floatstone, and Razor Claw. I would honestly replace Razor Claw with Attack Weight because you'll get more damage out of it over time, and that can lend itself to, that can be more helpful. So I really wouldn't like carry that. I mean, if you're going to use them in the jungle, obviously you want Floatstone on them because that's going to lead itself towards, that's going to stack with its passive and give them more speed on top of that. So that's always helpful, and of course critical damage is always good. But if you're not too focused on critical and all that, I could see somebody getting Muscle Band or something like that just to add more, you know, attack power to them, or maybe even weakness policy. But I don't think it's going to last that long in a fight. And you would have to maybe get Buddy Barrier work good, because his Unite moves hit twice. It's a sure hit. It jumps on top of the opposing Pokemon's head, and then he like slams down. So Energy Amplifier might be good, and Buddy Barrier might be good as well. There's like two other ones that you might want to use. So yeah, that's basically my synopsis, in my opinion, on Leafeon. I thought it was going to be an all-rounder. Yeah, Muscle Band will still work good. Yeah, Leafeon, exactly. Like Muscle Band is is also a good option. Like Muscle Band is always going to be a solid option. You know, like increasing attack speed, things like that. But I would definitely. Everybody's excited for Umbreon. Everybody's excited for Umbreon. But I would most definitely keep Float Stone on him if you're going to run him in the jungle. And just for maybe some survivability, Buddy Barrier. But I'm going to shoot for playing with a team with all 4 EVs on the same team. But yeah, this most definitely will probably be the build to go with. You know, but like I said, attack weight might do good too. Because if you max it out, that's plus 75, plus the 18 that you have, plus the 24 from Float Stone. That's a lot of damage. Ground emblems for sure. I would say this will probably be the first Pokemon that could probably benefit from yellow emblems, because it actually has a passive gauge called the chlorophyll gauge, and when it fills up, he actually gets movement speed when he's not in grass. So, I mean, like, he gets movement speed when it's full. So on paper, oh damn, picture's not even loading up. Oh god, that's horrible. Well, there we go. Well, I was gonna say, like, on paper, looking at this Pokemon, I'm gonna let all these emblems load up. I would say on paper, they look like they tried to make a Pokemon that can lend itself to the yellow emblems, but I've used those yellow emblems on other Pokemon before, and you really can't tell the difference in the speed boost. So I would probably go, most definitely, I would probably max out the browns to give them attack. So we're going to test out a couple. See what's going to be good for him. Just a little out right there. Alright. So he's high offense, low endurance. So you're definitely going to want to focus on being as offensive with this Pokemon as possible. Scoring, support, and all that is like at a 2.5. Endurance is low, meaning that his health is probably just as low as the Rolodon's, which isn't a good thing. So if you want to give him some survivability, definitely give him Buddy Barrier to help him stay alive. But you're going to want to focus on his attack more. Like, he's one of the Pokemon that you want to be offensive with. So looking at his attack, you definitely want to raise that up. Obviously, special attack, and they probably would recommend that you lower his defense too, which would probably, but he already has low health, so it's not like it's not gonna do anything less than what he's already built for. You know, so, but I still wouldn't lower it, in my opinion. Movement speed shouldn't be an issue considering you got Float Stone on him, if you're running Float Stone. So movement speed, because he's going to get the boost from it. Let's get Marowak. just me taking a quick little look at everything. Let's see if I care for that. If you do the lights. Or they didn't put the other emblems in the game yet. In the test server, excuse me. They never updated the server with the current emblems. So, but I would use Ho-Oh because Ho-Oh would probably give you like 4 maxed out, 4 attack maxed out. And since he's not in there just for regular purposes, we'll throw in Gyarados. Probably be a way to go with it. I mean, obviously you would want more health with the white emblems. If I take that off. This will probably be the way to go with him. High enough attack, a little bit of defense. Even though that's probably like irrelevant for how low health he has. You definitely want to get more offense with this Pokemon. You definitely want to add more attack, but they don't have all the emblems that I would personally use for Leafeon, so I'm kind of like assed out as far as what I want to make in the test server. But yeah, but you want to aim for something around like this, you know. Make sure all the brown ones give them, you know, shoot for as high as of an attack you can get with the brown emblems, and try to go for as much health with the white emblems. So 4 times 50. So ideally, the white emblem should give him at least 200 health. Ideally. Yeah, this is Leafeon. I like what I see. I think he's going to do pretty good in the right hands. He's definitely going to be a problem. I think his go-to is going to be Razor Leaf. I can see people using Razor Leaf and Leaf Blade in the same kits, like in the same build. But he's definitely going to be fun to play with. So that's my opinion on